My name is Ming Khan, and I am a graduate student at the University of Erlangen, Nuremberg in Germany. I was interested in paleontology after I went to the Museum of the Earth during my first semester, where I observed for the first time how the fossil record preserves information about the coevolution of life on Earth in deep time. And it was the first time that I actually got to really understand what deep time and life really meant. Deep time would be um, all of Earth's history. The Earth is 4.6 billion years old. That is a time scale that we can't even comprehend. We can probably think of a few thousand years, but 4.5 billion years is just so long a time frame, and that is deep time. Throughout time, some species have gone extinct and others survive. I am studying if there are certain qualities or traits that make an organism more likely to go extinct. There are a few different traits I am interested in. Ecological traits are related to the environment where an organism lives and how it interacts with the environment. Physiological traits are related to an organism's body, such as its size, or parts like tentacles, shells, or mouths. In order to analyze different traits and their role in extinction, we need a lot of information or data. Occurrence data is how often an organism shows up, when in history, and where in the world. This can often be hard to know because some fossils are not preserved as well as others, and the absolute age of a specimen can be difficult to identify. The more data we have across time and geographic locations, the better our analysis will be. But our data also needs to have a high quality to be useful. I use computers and modeling to see if there are patterns in the data. I'm currently studying how sample size can affect our analysis. If a species is sampled very well, we can look at the fossil record and accurately understand which traits made them more vulnerable to extinction. But if we have too little data, our analysis may suggest artificially high risks for certain traits. Learning about extinction and figuring out if there are certain traits that make an organism more likely to go extinct is especially important today. The Earth's climate is changing, and with it, many species have already gone extinct. By using data and understanding extinction risk metrics in the past, we may help predict future risk metrics as well. Well, as I am a computational paleobiologist at this point in time, my average day really is just reading a lot of literature and trying to understand the background work and what has already been done. But when it comes to my analysis, it really is just sitting in front of a computer and trying to understand how to mathematically define our thought processes and write them out in code. So a lot of desk work. I was surprised at just how much computing work I have been doing over the last 2 years. It's far more than I thought I would be doing as a paleontologist, but computational paleobiology, it's getting big. I love how easy it is to get excited about paleontology. Like you could just talk to somebody about a fossil that you found and explain that a fossil is just a record of ancient life and you get to see it in front of you. That's exciting. Like you could just explain it to anybody and it doesn't just have to be dinosaurs. And you could tell someone, okay, this seashell that you're looking at is hundreds of thousands of years old or millions of years old. And that's just easy to get excited about, I think. I would love to go to Antarctica someday if that's at all possible, because I did my senior thesis on Antarctic specimens, which are currently in the Paleontological Research Institution. So I have not traveled as much for paleontology before, but I did do my field camp in geosciences in New Zealand. It was also the first time I kind of like started getting into this whole, oh, it's kind of hard to be a geoscientist if your peers don't make it easy. It was not Frontier's fault. It was just the fact that my classmates all were, very into outdoors. I had two professional skiers on my teams, and I was just like, this is my first time in the outdoors. I cannot keep up with you. And when you're the only one, and I think I did it over the fall semester, so winter New Zealand. So it was a smaller group. And when it's such a small group, it was just like, okay, I'm the only one who's struggling. And I was also the only non-white person. Actually, that's not true. It was me and there was this Chinese girl, but the two of us were the only non-white people in the entire program. Yeah, I remember people saying that, oh, I study rocks, so I don't have to worry about the real world and like issues of racism or politics or things like that. That's why I study rocks. I'm really glad that that's changing because now we think about all of that in our field at the same time. And it's a much needed change, I think. it's sometimes really hard to stay motivated because there will be failures and there will be times when you just don't know how to proceed. And that can be quite hard, I think. Stay curious and forget the definitions. One does not have to be in university to be a paleontologist. A young girl who collects seashells on holiday is as much a paleontologist as a tenured professor. The trick is to never stop dreaming, even when there are failures, and there will be plenty. And being able to surround ourselves with mentors, whether they're family or educators or friends who believe in you, will make the journey much easier. I think the best skill is just curiosity, and being curious kind of leads you to explore many different pathways. So you could be a field-based paleontologist if you have access to the outdoors or you're interested in doing that. Or you could be looking at patterns in the data if you are more interested in computing and building these different skills. So yeah, I think this most important skill really is just curiosity and a desire to learn more.